One thing I have always wondered though, G-Man, it always racked my brain watching the show. Well, what does the G in G-Man stand for?
It's just a nickname for me when I played high school basketball.
Oh, really?
They used to refer to me as G-Man, so it just stuck on me.
Oh,
That's actually really awesome.
I always thought it stood for God, like God Man, like you're actually like a comic book superhero that channels the power of the Lord.
That
So
sounds like
no,
a
I
really
didn't-
terrible
my,
Christian
my coach gave
superhero. Like the Bible.
What positions you play?
God Man.
I'm gonna expose myself on YouTube. I'm gonna make a YouTube video embarrassing myself.
Thank
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Right now, I got to tell you about the fabulous, most groovy
G-Man. G-Man.
You know you're breaking the law right now.
I will stomp a mud hole in you, sir.
I am not playing Dragnet.
My name is G-Man.
You got the audacity. You're going to jail. You got the audacity.
My name is G-Man.
You got the audacity. That's all I got to say. You got the audacity. I stole $3,000. You got the audacity. Audacity. You got the audacity. Because you don't got no evidence.
My name is G-Man. G-Man. My name is G-Man.
So big can this guy be?
My name is G-Man. G-Man. My name is G-Man. G-Man.
You can't beat me in fighting. You can't beat me in chemistry. You can't beat me in biology. You can't even walk better than me. You can't outrun me. Dude, you can't even out-talk me. Come to Jersey. Come to Jersey. Come to Jersey. Come to Jersey.
I will say welcome to your internet friends podcast. Here, I'm the Irish Devil. My co-hosts are Woony.
Hello.
Banatical.
Hello.
All right.
Nightmare.
Hello.
Styx is here, but I'm not sure if he's talking.
He's tired.
And I would like to welcome our dear guest, G-Man.
Introduce yourself, G-Man.
Are we live?
Well, we're not. It's pre-recorded.
We're not live. We pre-record these because we've had some people threaten to falsify us, so
Yeah.
we deal with that.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Mhm.
Hello, everybody. I'm the one and only G-Man.
Right.
Hope everybody's having a good day.
Aw, ain't that sweet?
Yeah, and tonight's topic is something that I think a lot of us actually have in common. It's actually wrestling.
Wrestling.
I've been watching a lot of AEW recently. Gina, I don't know if you've watched any AEW at all or lately or what have it, but do you have an opinion on the product, on like the talent they have on that roster? Do you think it's better than NXT?
Well, presently, right now, as far as like their product in general, is better than WWE, because at least AEW isn't insulting their audience.
No, they're not. I mean, they've also got. I mean, I don't want to say former Impact stars, but you do have Kazarian, you have Christopher Daniels, and then you have Cody and the Young Bucks who just completely took over. Irish is here is more of a WWE fan.
But I'm also a massive Bullet Club fan, so AEW has kind of been a good thing for me because with like Kenny in there and the Bucks.
Yeah, Kenny is the best
Bullet
wrestler.
Club actually is presently in AEW. I believe two of the members are in just signed with AEW, if I'm not mistaken, didn't they?
No, Gallows and Anderson, they signed with Impact.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah, or TNA, yeah.
Oh God! How much money did the Impact have to get?
More than AEW, apparently.
But
they
that's
also-
you go to AEW, but it's being run by your buddies.
Can I tell you what? One thing, if you, and G-Man, this goes for you too. If you guys really want to see what they had, they did a podcast of their own after this where they just completely shot on WWE, on Paul Heyman, on their treatments and everything.
The only thing that they enjoyed doing when they were there was whenever they got to work with Fergo and AJ.
Yeah, I mean, because they were buddies in New Japan.
Well, yeah,
I would love to see if you got a link for that. I'd like to take a look at that.
I
I have some.
We're on here.
I have something that I have to ask. As someone who is mainly here because I wanted to be able to talk with G-Man. I used to watch wrestling when I was a kid. I know a little bit about it, not too much. What's going on with WWE, like, assaulting their fans?
Assaulting your fans?
Insulting.
You said something earlier, G-Man.
I think he said insulting.
Oh, insulting. It sounded like he said assaulting. Assaulting.
No, insulting. Insulting.
Oh.
WWE is breaking into the houses of their fans and coughing in their faces to give them corona.
Yeah.
But, to be fair, that wouldn't be the first time, G-Man. If you remember back when Brock Lesnar did his thing where he ripped up J&J Security's car, when he threw that car door, it hit a fan in the audience.
Oh, wow. I must have missed that part.
Against the barricade and like flipped up and hit a guy.
I'm surprised that man didn't jump the barricade and go after him.
I suppose that's what happens when you.
Wrestling needs to learn a thing or two from the Shamu shows and realize that the audience wants to be able to, take a little risk when they come into the show.
Institute a splash zone.
Fucking splash zone. Watch out for blood from the competitors. Don't get hit by a stray chair.
I don't think
wrestling. I think wrestling would need to get a little bit more intense and graphic for the blood splatter.
Give him swords.
Did any of you ever go to wrestling school?
No, I have not.
Used to wrestle.
I know that I went there, and what's his name? I think I'm thinking about Ben. Me and Ben went to wrestling school. Me and Ben was talking about that on Skype, where he was talking about how he trained to be a wrestler. I was actually trained by LaParkin. The reason why I stopped doing it was two reasons, actually. The first reason was I got hit in the head with actually it was two things. I got hit in the head with a chair. You know what I mean? And back then they used to do it cold turkey. Like, this was back in the attic.
There was no stomping of the foot. There was no putting your hands up. It was straight up chair to the dome.
Yep, you had to take it like that, and I had to take several of those. And I was like, "No, this ain't for me." And the other thing that convinced me that it wasn't for me, one of those guys was acting like there was like Mick Foley, like crazy. You know what I mean? And one of them told me I had to like take like 20 power bombs. You know what I mean? And I was like, "Nah, this ain't for me."
Okay, 20 power bombs in one match, or 20 power bombs just to get used to taking
in
power.
In practice.
Oh God, in a row?
Yep.
That's death.
We had to get in line, and they said, "Okay, you're gonna take 20 power bombs." And there was guys who was able to do it, but I couldn't do it. It's like, nah, man, this ain't for me.
I presume the guy power.
I guess that's one way to weed out the people who aren't cut out for it.
Yeah,
you gotta have a very strong threshold of pain. Yeah, but they liked me though because I was good at promos. I was really good at keeping up with promos.
I could believe that.
Yeah, no, G-Man, you're 100. I've seen some of your raps, and I've seen you talk. I imagine like you're definitely someone I can imagine being really good in promos. I can imagine you. I can 100% see you in like a Paul Heyman, Bobby the Brain Heenan kind of role, like like a manager, the guy who talks.
Yeah, I was about to say he should be like the manager.
Yeah.
It's like
you know what it is. When I went to school, I told him that I would be willing to take a power bomb on top of a car, and like I would be willing to like, if they did it right, throw me through like a car window or something like that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And they took that as if, okay, we got to get his body ready, and we got to make him go through all these power bombs, and oh Lord, I just couldn't do it.
That sounds rough.
Sometimes
you were more thinking like if this is what it took, I'm willing to take this, and they took it as, listen guys, this is what I'm able to take.
Right.
You said, oh, here's what I'm willing to do if you need me to do it, and they were like, let's torture this guy.
Fucking make him cry.
Let's break this kid.
Let's break this man.
That's how WWE used to break guys in an OCW back in the day, though. They used to be like super harsh.
Yeah.
Do you remember the OCW, FCW days before it became NXT, G-Man?
You mean OVW days?
Yeah, and it was OVW and then it was FCW because they had them in it was Florida Championship Wrestling as well for a while.
Not OVW. I think I followed more of the Power Plant and WCW where they trained their guys.
I remember back in the day. I think it was Wade Barrett before he was Wade Barrett. I remember seeing him. It was his last match in OVW before like the first season of NXT started, and you realize that these guys who were so good on NXT got ruined when they got brought up to mainstream television, because WWE has it's the leading brand, and it will always be the leading brand because Vince is Vince, and he destroyed the regional wrestling market when his dad and him kind of stole all the wrestlers and then became a multi-territory national international company. But they have some of the best talent, they have some of the best managers, but they have the best budget, and they have the what they don't have is good writers. because they have the worst, like, besides like some of the mid 2010 early 2010 Impact stuff, that current WB product is some of the worst writing I've ever seen in wrestling.
Well, the truth is, if Vince McMahon decided that he didn't want to be public no more and wanted to go back to being a privately held company again, he would kill everybody. But, he's trying to appease a lot of different people. So, you can't say certain things, you can't do certain things. You know what I mean? He's worrying about PR too much.
Did you hear the rumor that, this is only a rumor, and I only saw it through What Culture, there was a rumor that either Vince was asked by or was made an offer to by the Saudis are apparently interested in purchasing WWE from Vince McMahon.
Well, actually, that's possible. I can see him doing it if they throw enough money in his face. If they offer him like maybe $4 or $5 billion, I see him doing it.
Oh yeah, no, because the Saudis have that money to play around with. But can you imagine how many people would stop watching WWE the second they found out, oh, Saudi Arabia owns this now?
Well, what they would have to do is Vince would have to work for the Saudis. He would have to be like a general manager or an advisor or something like that.
Yeah,
to get them ready to take over or whatever.
He would have to. If they could sell it to the Saudis, but if they still did the thing back in the day, I can't remember the guy's name. Do you remember back in the day they used to pretend that Vince didn't own the company? It was some other guy. It was the CEO, Jack Kirby. That was his name, I think. No, it was Jack something. Jack Kirby's the guy.
Jack Cunny. I remember his name was Jack Cunny.
Yeah, he pretended to be the CEO. If they sold WWE to the Saudis, if the McMahon family stayed on as the kayfabe owners of the company and still acted in their authority, they're within storyline authority roles, I can imagine it going over well. But if Vince sold the company and all of a sudden Stephanie, Shane, Linda stepped away because she's in cabinet with Trump. But Vince and Hunter all just stepped away from the company because Vince sold it for $4 billion. I can just see millions of fans just sloughing off, like, basically because of the fact that it would be then owned by what is a theocracy in the middle of the Middle East, and it wouldn't be a wrestling company that was a private company, public company. It would be.
What they can do is they can buy the company, and then what they can do is they can make Triple H just run everything, and they'll just be the financial backers.
The ones who get the money, basically.
Yeah, that's what they can do. But I doubt that's ever going to happen. I think Disney has a better chance of buying WWE.
Disney is eventually going to own like the United States government.
You're saying it doesn't already?
In like 100 years.
That's a brave claim.
The country.
Gman, I think a few of us have a couple of questions. That I have a couple of questions I wanted to ask you, and I've wanted to ask you them for years, mind you. So I was just wondering if you'd be alright with me asking you a couple of questions.
Sure, no problem. About what?
I've always wanted to cover people's sides of certain issues. I've always wanted to hear your side. So if you could sum up in in no more than like 200 or so words, really.
If you could write us an essay, please. What's with the word limit?
But if you could, like, your experience with a man we've all not ever had interactions with, but a man whose name we all know, and a like I think used to consider him a friend until he kind of showed his true colors. Mr. Brett Keane. In like 200 words or less, you sum up your experiences with Brett Keane.
Yeah.
No repeating
Brett
words.
Is Brett Brett Keane is a person who is struggling with theism. He's a former atheist who struggles with trusting people. I believe he can be sometimes a little manipulative, but I get him in general. But Brett's going to be Brett. I'm going to be G-Man. So
I think
Brett's okay.
I have a question about someone else. Were you, like me, shocked when JF came out as a neo-Nazi? That was like an M. Night JF Garapi, the friend.
You had a rap battle with him.
Battles.
Yeah, I remember him. You know, I wasn't surprised, believe it or not. Honestly and truthfully,
you got those KKK vibes from him?
Hangouts, into a few group discussions, I think we can discourage him from having that position. But again, these
right now he's created a nice little echo chamber for him.
Yeah.
He just sort of talks to other white nationalists from what I've seen.
He did become like.
He did say that he would come on here.
Yeah, he did.
Actually, he wanted you, G-Man. He wanted to speak with you, but I couldn't work out the times right.
Well, that could be interesting.
I was going to say, G-Man, we do want him on here eventually as a guest. And just to
I'll gladly be on here when he's on here. You ain't got to ask me. I'll be on here when he's on here.
Oh,
that's awesome.
No,
let's host that.
I guess I should say, in case JF sees this, the opinions of me do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the entire podcast.
Yeah, we're all
is a communist, so keep that in mind.
If you want to talk
about,
I
should probably say this then. My opinions are definitely against that of JF's and his Nazi Germany mentality.
Yeah.
So I would gladly have a conversation with him.
Yeah, I would also.
A group who are like more kind of politically diverse.
Yeah, one thing I would say is that
I know a lot of podcasts. Like when you were on DP, a lot of them are like they're when you were on DP in the past, they were all kind of left-leaning atheists. Like Winnie's.
All right, shut up, Tanky.
Yeah, Winnie's a communist.
Yeah, no, I'll
Winnie's a communist. Then I'm trying to think, where do you land on the political spectrum? Kind of middle left, really. Winnie's that
Irish is just trying to basically explain that we're ideologically somewhat diverse.
Yeah.
Winnie's a communist, and you're kind of like middle left and a gender abolitionist. So. You're kind of
I'm the lib leftist of lib lefters.
Yeah,
I'm a Blairite.
Yeah,
Quick Sticks is Blair White.
No, not Blair White. Blairite.
Jesus,
he was a Blair supporting Labour. Nightmare, you're a cop. So.
Blair White. I'm gonna be real. Your voice sounds a lot better in your videos. Your accent doesn't come out.
Nightmare.
Hope that blackface face mask that you've been using is making your skin look
Nightmare,
nice.
You're a centrist cop.
A centrist?
Are you not a centrist?
No, I'm more of, I guess you'd say, a social
Shut it, pig.
Oh yeah. By the way, I'm not actually a Blairite.
Ben, hold on, guys. Ben, just for that, you're not getting paid this month.
Oh no! However, we'll recover from our fucking demonetized YouTube videos.
I am somewhat curious, G-Man. What do you identify as?
Where are you on the political compass?
I want smaller government. So obviously, I'm
my fellow libertarian.
One
day us anarchists will rule this world.
So G-Man wants smaller government. Sticks is like a diet Scottish nationalist, but not an SNP.
No. I'm like a Labour Party supporting Social Democrat.
And I'm a centrist Irish nationalist.
Listen,
By the way, if it's not
G-Man.
obvious because I don't have that much of an accent and kind of sticks does, I live in Northern Ireland, G-Man, so politics is something I literally can't get away from because they used to fight within my lifetime there was a war over it.
Listen,
There still is.
G-Man, as an anarchist to a fellow libertarian, we can rule this city together, G-Man, or we can just fight to the death. Your choice.
Ben, I'm sorry. Is this something?
If you bring JF on here, though, then you're probably definitely going to need to, do some editing because the last time I talked to JF, I didn't really get into him the way I wanted to because it's a peasant.
And listen, dude. Listen, man. Whenever we get JF on here, don't hold your tongue. Say whatever you want.
On the topic of JF, moving back because I was unfortunately muted, but I wanted to say something about JF. I feel like JF, and I feel like you were really right about this, G-Man. I do think JF could be changed if he was moved out of his echo chamber when it comes to this stuff, because I've heard Vosh, I saw the video that Vosh did where he was having an interview with JF, and he was actually able to almost use scientific reasoning to get him to realize that we shouldn't actually be practicing genocide against people to keep them out of the gene pool until we know that sociology is better. So all I'm saying is maybe he could be improved, because I do think deep below, buried under that Nazi veneer of him, he may still have the mind of a scientist in there.
We're gonna have
possibly.
this whole part out.
I'll censor it.
He's like,
that do not necessarily represent the views of your internet friends.
No, that's getting edited out.
It was a compliment. It was a compliment.
Then it's getting edited out.
I'm editing you out. No more. There's no nightmare in the rest of this episode. Boop. I'm not getting paid.
Guys, stop. No. Anyway, let's change subjects.
I do think that G-Man, I got another question for you. What was your well, I think I have two, but I'll make the first one. I'll let someone else ask their question, but then I have my final question. Your experience with the peasants. Who would you say is the most of the and I say the peasants, I mean the the two original, Scotty and Paul, as well, and the new one, Billy. Of your experience with the five drunken peasants in the history of DP, who would you say where would you put them? Who's the easiest to talk to? Who's the one that you can actually have a conversation with? And who's the asshole? Who's the guy that just wouldn't talk to people?
Okay, Paul's ego is the butthole. Okay, that's number one.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, definitely.
No. Actually, I actually got to change that. It's a tie between Paul's ego and the amazing atheist's brother.
Scotty.
Okay.
He is a little bit of a prideful prick. I love you, Scotty.
No, whenever Scotty drinks, he becomes like a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Asshole.
Mr. Ass.
The easiest one to talk to is the host.
Or Ben.
Scotty, my bad. Okay. No, Ben. No.
Ben. Yeah, he's a swell guy.
The amazing atheist was the one I was looking forward to talking to the most.
Mm-hmm. He's a charismatic brother. Have you talked with him before?
Billy, I don't really know what's in his brain, because every time I go on there, he's trolling. He doesn't really say anything intelligent.
I will say, I think to an extent, I think that may just because he's too sweet and honest of voice. He's kind of like Butters from South Park. You don't believe there's someone that's that naive and kind. But he's kind of a sweet boy.
Yeah, well, he'll be
I got a topic we could bring up about DP that I think would be interesting.
Ooh,
Paul Ego
really?
and Billy the Fridge's fight, fake or real?
It's been confirmed as fake.
Yeah, they confirmed since.
Yeah, I believe it was confirmed as fake. However, I will admit, I was one of the ones who thought it was real.
I will say I don't know how they doctored the footage of Paul's ego taking out his dick and pissing into Billy's face. It must have been really advanced technology, but it was.
Ben, what did I tell you? G-Man, you asked about the black eye. They said in the past it's makeup.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, they actually did a whole reveal of this.
Ben, unmute yourself, by the way.
So pissed off about it.
Or maybe it was real, and they decided for the sake of the show
it was a cover
to pretend it wasn't, and they paid
get
Paul
into some
Ego good money to shut up.
conspiracies.
If you actually, because there's a DP documentary series, Gman, it's called Peasant Through the Ages, and the episode of that episode, there's kind of like sagas within Drunken Peasants history, and the kind of saga that all happened in is known as the Dark Ages of Kayfabe to like the DP fans, where everything
everything was fake, and
DP just
was creating.
So you telling me Brett Keane going on there and being?
Oh no, that wasn't.
Oh no! Brett Keane was never in on the kayfabe.
No, but G-Man, how is your relationship with Brett Keane now? Like, are
My
you guys?
relationship with them is just fine. Same old, same old. I'll be friends with them for a little while, and then every now and then he'll start asking me questions, want to throw me under the bus for a couple of months, and then we're friends again. That's how it is, you know.
All right.
It doesn't sound like the healthiest relationship.
So
It does sound like a big Keane cycle, though.
It sounds like Brett's the same old.
Yeah.
Back in the day, I was in a couple of Brett Keane hangouts just to see what it was like. And what he does is he gets a bunch of people on, and then he gets them to talk for him, and then he'll fuck off. He'll fuck off for like 5 hours.
There was one time he streamed for 12 hours and he left for 5 of the 12 hours.
Wow. He's like Nightmare in our podcast. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, fair enough.
Anyways,
if you ever see my hangouts, I'm in my hangouts most of the time.
That's because you're a personality powerhouse, my friend.
I think you all. I might just ask my other question now because I know I don't expect an overly long answer. And if you don't want to answer this question, G-Man, that's totally fine. But I know the other guys have other questions for you. It's only because me and Nightmare recently watched a live stream on YouTube.
Oh,
It was Rev, Revelation News.
Yeah.
And basically what happened was Rev was playing his GTA, and all of a sudden, they're married, aren't they, Nightmare?
Yes, they are.
So his dear wife starts screaming at him from the other room.
I thought they were common law.
No, they're married now.
No, I don't know actually.
But
they're definitely common law.
And Rev is all upset and like actually like crying, and then he leaves again and comes back and the stream ends. And from my experiences and just my experiences watching that live stream with Nightmare, and because we were trying to talk to Rev to maybe get him or his wife on the show eventually. And from my experiences and from what I've seen on DP and from the horror shows I've seen on certain not safe for work websites, what is your I know we've had some negative experiences, but what is your as Chris Chan would say, true and honest opinion and your experience with Rev secondarily, but mainly Shani for Christ?
My opinion of them?
Your opinion and your experiences with them. Like where would you because
is it positive, negative, somewhere in the middle?
Curious, yeah. I'm somewhat curious about your thoughts of what I would describe as their very strange fall from grace, sort of. From
I got a really
flat
short
and white, and then being a sex worker.
That's true.
Okay, guys.
I have a very short response for that. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
I forgive them. That is my entire opinion of them. My opinion
Following
is
in
I
Jesus'
forgive them,
footsteps.
and they forgave me.
That's
Fair enough.
No. Given what I know about the way you two guys interacted, you forgiving them it's a very noble thing to do, G-Man. I do have to ask one minor caveat. What do you think of? I doubt you've seen it because I only saw it by accident and I was horrified.
It was because of me.
It was because of Nightmare. What do you think?
Nightmare's turned on by Shani.
Rev and Shani's essentially sex career now. What they do.
They don't do it anymore.
They don't.
I never saw it.
Hmm.
I never saw it.
All right.
Do you have an opinion on them doing it?
No, I never saw it. I never saw it in
Fair enough.
pictures or
Fair
any
enough.
of the things that they did.
Yeah, fair enough.
I have a question for my good old friend G-Man.
Actually, I had something.
Well, I said it first.
Okay, well, fuck you.
Okay, G-Man, I actually do have a little bit of a question for you here. So, you have I feel checkered is a little cruel of a word, an interesting past, throughout your time, on the internet, on YouTube. Yeah. If it weren't, if it wasn't one thing, it was saying Christian slaves don't starve. But we're not going to focus on your past. What I want to know is, how do you feel you've changed over your time on YouTube? What do you think have been some of the biggest changes, evolutions? What has made you the G-Man that you are today?
What makes the G-Man G?
I would say, in how I go about arguing with people, debating people, my style of how I do apologetics as opposed to what I did when I first got on here. Yeah. I was very naive when I first got on YouTube, and I thought that I would just talk and people would just listen. I did no research about YouTube channels, subscribers, views, or anything like that when I got on here. I just started talking, and that was it. When I started talking to atheists and started understanding how all of this works, I changed a lot of things. I changed the way I debate, the way I talk, the way I go about trying to prove my points. So I would say that I'm a little bit more, I'm probably a little bit more analytical than I was when I first got on here.
You're more seasoned in other words.
Yeah. As maybe as like a little addendum to this, and then Nightmare, I'll let you get to your question. How do you feel your position on YouTube has changed with, I know you're not technically overtly political, but you are, religious, and it typically ties in as the plane of YouTube. The eras of stuff, the DP of tomorrow is brought up, of yesteryear is brought up by the DP of today. Shut the fuck up, Nightmare. I'll kick you from the podcast. G-Man. G-Man, how do you feel your position on YouTube has changed as the political, just social landscape of YouTube has changed itself?
Yeah,
I think my position has grown. I have a bigger voice than I did when I first got on here. As a matter of fact, I have a bigger voice than I had 5 years ago. I can say something to the Christian community right now, and I believe that the Christian community will act on it.
That's good.
I can give advice about how to deal with certain things, and people will take it to heart. As opposed to when I first got on here, my first couple of years, where people were just like, we like you, you're tough.
Who's this dude?
Who's this filthy motherfucker?
But now people know I'm real. People know that I'm not just talking.
I will say, I see your name pop up in a lot of different places now.
Actually,
so it seems like you're
I
definitely getting a lot more covered.
Yeah.
Well, that's all. That was my statement, Nightmare. Yes, you can.
Yeah. So, G-Man, I know that. I don't know if you would call them friends, but I would call them friends. I've met both of them. I've had lunch with both of them. What's your opinion on Hannibal and Monty?
Hannibal and Monty?
Yes.
How can I put this? Gremlins. Let me see something here. Gremlins. What's the other ones called? I guess I would call them two massive trolls. When they want to talk, they can talk about things. But I look at both of them right now as just being trolls. I don't see anything that I would call like where I can sit down with them and have a burger and talk about a serious matter. There's too much sarcasm and goofiness there for me to take either one of them seriously.
Shining words of endorsement from G-Man. Please check out Hannibal.
You know what I want to see, though? Do you know what I want to see? I want to see Hannibal and Monty mad about a particular topic.
I've seen Monty pissed.
One time.
I've seen Monty pissed.
All right, let's start that. Hannibal, I think you got a small cock. Challenge me on it, fucker.
Would not show it.
Man.
Hannibal's got a small cock. I challenge you. Prove it. Prove me wrong, bitch.
Ben, leave the degeneracy to me and not when we have a Christian.
Oh, you do not need to talk to me about degeneracy, but I want to be kind to our friend G-Man here.
Jesus.
And let's be honest about something, too. I don't think either one of them are capable of taking a strong stance on a particular topic and holding their ground.
I would disagree on that. Like
Hannibal, prove to me you have a large cock. I don't
give me
believe
a
you do.
topic that they talked about that they take a strong stance on.
Music.
100%.
That's not really a serious issue,
There's an
though.
entire thing. What
kind of stance they take on music? This should be good.
I think alternative doesn't sound very good.
It's not a meme, but it didn't start out being a meme. But it sort of became a meme as we've, messed with Monty more and more about it, alright? So, I'm assuming you're familiar with Eminem, the artist, and you're familiar with the song Stan.
Right.
Yeah, so Hannibal and Monty were doing something a while back, and Monty said that, Stan's not one of his greatest songs. That pissed everybody. Well, not everybody, but it pissed a lot of people off. And to this day, Monty stands by his opinion, and he's also never seen certain movies, and he will never see certain movies. Like he's never seen Fight Club. He just watched the show.
That's a bad choice of movie never to see, because that's a good movie.
I know. I told him the same thing. But art's another thing that they're really passionate about, because obviously Monty's an artist in New Orleans, and Hannibal.
Good artist.
An artist. Oh yeah. Like I got pictures.
We're talking about Hannibal and Monty. Let's talk about that intro that they did. Did you see the Gman intro that they did?
Yep.
Yeah.
The Audacity, right? Now I want to talk about this for a moment. We can get like about 5 minutes with this now, right?
Oh, you're good.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So they made that thing. They took all of these clips from me, right? And then they made this Audacity thing, which, by the way, I like. It was supposed to insult me and make me feel bad or whatever.
Yeah,
I actually like it.
It's a good video. I like it.
Yeah, it's good. Like,
Got a good
I don't
beat.
take stuff like that seriously, because when I do a rap battle, I don't expect anybody to take what I say seriously. You know what I mean? Because if you do, then I win. Because that's the whole point, is to get you all emotional about what I just said. You know what I mean?
I mean, something like that is like a case of all publicity is good publicity, you know?
Right. So he made the thing. And this guy had the nerve to try to sell it to me for $3,000.
Whoa.
I can tell you
from me for anything that they got on that thing.
I mean, though, they did put a lot of
I know
effort into
Hannibal's-
making the music.
I can actually go
and
for
editing.
Hannibal's position. That spoke to Hannibal about this in the past. The reason why he said $3,000 is because exclusive rights. You know, like where you own it outright. There are three people in that production team. There's Hannibal, there's Ace Wonder, and then there's Johnny that Facebook famous Brasco. And Hannibal's that they all just won $1,000, and that's just for exclusive rights. He said anybody can use it, but if you want to own it outright, that's what it's going to cost.
Well, here's the thing. I'm going to use it, and I'm thinking about copywriting it. And you want to know why? Because I don't have any letters. I don't have anything from them where they ask me permission to use me in that thing at all. Nothing. And he can argue. He can go to court and say, I don't need his permission, Your Honor, the music. And no. You do need my permission to a certain degree. Because when I say I got zero from them to get permission from me to do anything like that. I got zero. And I know I can fight them if I wanted to on it. That's why from that day on, I lost all kinds of respect for those guys. Because you don't do that to people. You don't steal people's comments, make a, whatever you want to call that thing, an intro, and then try to sell it back to the same person for $3,000. And then think it's gonna slide. That's why I look at Hannibal and Monty as being intellectual midgets. Like they don't know if I want it, so I can really make a big deal about that if I want it.
It's actually intellectual little people.
Intellectual little people.
Intellectual little people, please.
You know, but the only reason I don't do it because I like the Audacity thing. Yeah, I can see if they was insulting me. The problem today is people don't know how to insult nobody. That's the problem. I know how to do it.
Yeah, people who can't do it without being like particularly mean, like no one's really creative anymore.
You got to see the irate Alex rap battle.
I kind of like the Audacity videos.
You know what he made about me? The only thing he said in the whole thing that was supposed to insult me was Shanny. That was the only thing he said in the entire
irate Alex.
Yeah, I brought up
you mean the guy who used to be Irate Bear?
Yeah.
We're sort of friends.
Yeah, but check this out though. I brought up his MS in my rap. I brought up his queen. I brought up a whole bunch of other things. As a matter of fact, I called this queen a hoe, if I'm not mistaken.
She's 95.
Yeah, I called her a hoe, and I said some things about his toys, and you should have seen how many of them were mad at me when I said the things that I said.
Oh,
no. Nobody cared about what he said in his rap.
When you insult their queen, as an Irishman, I can tell you about that.
I'm an American, you know, we won the Revolutionary War, so of course I'm going to insult the queen.
Do you want to maybe help us do that too? We've been kind of stuck with them for the last 1,000 years. Peacefully. We don't want them any more than anyone else did. It's just we're a tiny island and we're right next door to them.
Well, none of us want them, so you're basically the one.
That's my point, though. It's like when you make a rap about somebody, like Brett Keen's rap, even though Brett Keen stole somebody's lyrics, you know what I mean? And I but at least he tried. Irate Alex went in there with that lazy mess and thought he was going to beat somebody like me. I said, you must be crazy. I even told him I wouldn't battle him, and he didn't want to hear it. He wanted me to make something. Ever since I made that rap, I haven't heard my name on his YouTube channel one time.
G-Man, if I could, I'll probably get Nightmare to send you the link to this. But if you ever want to see a real funny Brett Keen clip, there was an episode of DP back in the day where Brett was trying to talk about atheist dictators, and he mispronounced Mao Zedong's name so wrong that almost all the peasants nearly died of laughter.
Zero the dong.
He tried to say the reign of Mao Zedong.
The reign of Zhao the dong.
G-Man was.
You gotta be careful because Brett don't like when you tease him. He might see this show and be like,
come at us, Brett.
Oh, we'll fight a manatee.
See if you can get.
He's not a manatee. Stop being mean. He's not a manatee.
Guys, listen, we're already dealing with one person threatening us to do that, so let's not do this for a while.
Okay, so my whole point with bringing up the rap battle and Hannibal Monty and his critique of music, Hannibal Monty's trying to get me to do a rap battle with him, and they're the ones challenging me.
Yeah.
I said, if you want to battle me, you got to make the rap, and if I feel like you actually did a good job, I will actually respond. They haven't made a rap yet.
Oh shit!
I'm aware of that.
H&M.
Yeah, they haven't made a rap yet. They're too scared because they
You're
know
being called out.
I give away those receipts,
You got grocery list size receipts, don't you?
Oh yeah, if they make a rap, it's all in fun. Let me ask you this: was you guys watching me back in the day when I first started all of this? Like when there was a woman in the community named Eve Real. You remember her?
I've heard the name.
Mm-hmm.
Now she gave me a run for my money. She did one called the G Fleet. I am trying so hard to find a copy of that. Nobody downloaded it, I guess. But that rap, because I rap battled her, she kicked my butt the first time I rap battled her. The second one, I got a lot of people mad because I went anti-feminism on her. I told her to get in the kitchen and make me some bread. I really laid it on her.
Nice one. Got it.
Okay, I don't support that, but it's funny.
Playlist. Yeah, if you go on my YouTube channel, you'll see a playlist on my YouTube channel.
Which one?
One there.
GTV or which one?
My Gman channel, and I got Atheist owned. Obviously, the peasants love that one. They make Amazing Atheist got 1 million views on that one.
Actually, I have a question about that song, G-Man. There was a version of that where it was like it was that song, but also some like tiny little kid.
Yeah.
Who's the? The episode that was on was titled G-Man - Sammy for Christ. And I thought that kid was Sammy for Christ for 3 years.
That was a shanty. That was some kid.
If only you could be so lucky.
Somebody put an evangelist kid on there.
Poor little
Singing to my
boy.
atheist. You see Atheist on 3?
Yeah.
The Billy the Fridge obituary rap?
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, I've seen that one.
Billy, you notice Billy never talked about it, right?
Yeah.
Now here's the thing.
Billy's too scared.
With the atheist community. When I make something good, nobody talks about it. Billy the Fridge and Drunken Peasants didn't want to talk about and the beautiful thing is there is nothing copywritten on there. In other words, I produced the music, I produced the rap and everything and whatnot. They could have played it on the Peasants 100 times, and I would have never flagged them because they would have sent traffic my way. You know what I mean? But they know Billy the Fridge got waxed on that one. That's why they don't want to show nobody. I had family members calling me
Damn!
waxing at him.
Billy the Fridge getting called out by the G-Meister.
Yeah, this is.
I'll send this to Bill. See what he can do about
Run away, Billy from the big bat. I kicked his behind. You gotta watch it.
I will put this. G-Man,
100%.
If Billy or Ben asked you to be on DP, would you go on?
If who?
Billy or Ben asked you to go on DP, and again, would you go on?
It depends. Who's their guest gonna be? Because honestly, Billy,
Joe.
Billy, he talks a lot of smack, but that dude don't know. He got real hard when he talked to Paul's ego. You know, I actually live in the hood. I don't know where he lives. I actually live in the hood. And that kind of talk will get you hurt. So
they live
my
in
thing
Seattle.
is, you can't be acting like that, man, and backing down from rap talent. Billy the Fridge, to me, I lost a lot of respect for Billy when Billy didn't even acknowledge the rap because he knows he got his behind wax and he didn't want to talk about it.
Actually, he did tell me something about it. He said that, and this is what he said.
Here we go from a Billy fan. Let's hear it.
No, man. I'm just acquaintances of Billy. He said that the reason why he doesn't respond, and this is his words, he said that you don't deserve a response.
Ooh.
Oh, okay. So if you look at what happened on the Drunken Peasants, right? And you look at where he says that, you know, Jesus is his boss, his thesis at a loss, and all that boring, corny stuff that he said on there. That was a waste of my time. But you know what? I told him I would respond to it, and I did. And he didn't say anything about it. So the answer to my question for you is if they asked me to go back on their channel, the answer is no. And you want to know why? They're not worth my time because they wasted it. My time is not to be wasted. If you tell me you want to have a rap battle and we do it and then you don't acknowledge it, that tells me that you're not taking nothing seriously. And if you want me to come back on the Drunken Peasants, then you probably want to waste some more of my time, and I'm not doing it.
Damn.
That's how I look at it. The Amazing Atheist isn't there no more, so what's the point of going on there?
Oh, word.
Wow.
Hey, Gman,
I can be mean. Here's the thing with me. I can be nice, but then I can be really mean too, and they know it.
G-Man spitting some truth bombs. I mean, I just spitting some bombs.
And to be honest, I'm more entertaining than Billy when I go on there, and everybody knows it.
Yeah,
I'm a lot more entertaining than Billy when I go on there.
Your episodes are what are considered some of the golden era of DP. Whoa. I have a question.
Billy's a tough guy, but he can't hold a candle to me because when I'm ready, I'll go on there and I'll go what they call on YouTube full G-Man on there.
Just to clarify, while we are proud to share these sick burns, we do not necessarily endorse them.
That is true.
I would like to say Irish should probably because we told.
I 100% don't. Like, these are all G-Man's
minutes. Like I told Monty that he was afraid to rap battle G-Man. I messaged him, and he just messaged me back. He said, "Tell him to come out and spit some bars, and I'll rap him off the internet."
Okay. Tell him I said this. He challenged me, and he needs to make the rap first. If that is too difficult for him, tell him the answer is no. I only rap real rappers.
Keep it going. The broiler's on fire.
I'm not afraid of Hannibal and Monty. I know who's gonna win that exchange when it happens. It ain't gonna be them. That's for sure.
You better watch out,
I can be really mean when I want to be.
You better watch out, Hannibus and Montal. The gauntlet is thrown.
Oh yeah, they might get another skull and have smoke come out of it and have me go, G-Man, G-Man, And you know what? If that's the best they got, then they can't deal with me. Period. That's the best they got. They can't deal with me.
TJ and Paul and Scotty have said no that they don't want to they don't want to really kind of cover the old stuff they used to cover in DP, like Brett and Gil Cordshire,
George Genesis.
And George Genesis. But if they ever invited you on to DFF, which is their new show, would you go on with TJ and Paul and Scotty?
Well, if the Amazing Atheist is going to be there, yes, because I like talking to the Amazing Atheist. I like when we actually have back and forth.
Yeah, TJ will let you talk. TJ is one of those guys that you can talk to. TJ literally has randomly messaged me. I think he randomly messaged me on Instagram once.
Yeah.
He had a 20, just out of the blue, just because I followed him, and sent me some random weird art, and then we had like a 20-minute conversation, and then that was it.
That's sweet.
TJ can just talk to you.
TJ, you're a true bro.
You told me dreams come true. Yeah.
You're born a citizen.
You see when they did the Star Wars? Oh my god.
Oh, finally, something. G-Man, a man of reason. What they did Star Wars, I've seen only some. The last time I saw something that bad done to something, it was a crime.
It was the prequels.
Yeah, they need to keep that political baloney out of, well, that political, I'm just gonna say that political BS out of out of our movies. That's what they need to do.
I don't know. It
I mean,
wasn't very
for example,
political. It was kind of just shit.
I'm not sure
Well,
if you're,
I mean, Star Wars has always been political. It just used to be well written and well implemented.
It was never.
Wait a minute. What's
never
political about
Not like
fighting
the
a
way they
fascist
did,
space force? That's pretty,
not like
Yeah,
they
no,
did
like,
political.
I mean, to be
The
fair,
Last
like,
Jedi.
the Empire
What
was...
they did to
Yeah,
Luke
no, I'm...
Skywalker was just stupid. We've been waiting for how many years to see how powerful Luke was, and then
Hey guys, I'm back. Sorry,
woman
my food
cut
came in.
balls off and made him just look horrible. You know,
G-Man, I am.
Kathleen Kennedy is like the stupidest. It's like the stupidest executive I've ever seen in my life.
You want to know what my biggest gripe is?
What was that?
One of the worst changes they made is, so in the original post episode 6 like canon, the war continued on for like 15 years, and when all was said and done, there was like basically the New Republic didn't control all of the galaxy. There was a remnant Imperial faction. You know, it made so much sense. Then Disney bought it, and now it's like the Emperor has this weird plan where it's like the Empire is going to self-destruct, and there's all these Imperial commanders who are just, you know, ridiculously insane.
There's nothing unrealistic about shooting lightning into the sky and destroying an entire fleet.
That's true.
Yeah, you're right.
That's ridiculous.
I'd say
that would require a lot of power to do something like that.
Yeah,
What
I'd
they
say
should've did was that they should have made them 3 episodes about Luke, and then Luke could have died in the last one, and then they could have started the arc with Rey and built her up slow. That's what they should have did.
what I'd say that I feel like the thing that I'm most pissed off about is that I feel like they had potential to do something that could have actually have been subversive and interesting. Like, the Rey and what was the name of the fucking Kylo Ren do abandon the orders of the Sith and the Jedi, and they try and make something new, and we see something interesting instead of just, the old Sith and Jedi fight. No, it's something new. It's a real new universe. And then they just bring back the Emperor, and they're like, oh, it's a big bad evil Sith. He was behind all along, guys. And then it's fucking just goes to shit, and all the any theme they had of like new beginnings and going beyond the false dichotomy of the past just gone. It's just gone for fucking marketing.
Well, here's the thing that I've
look at the comic books. If you actually look at the comic book, Sidious did return, so it makes sense. That makes sense a little bit, but they shouldn't have introduced Snoke like that.
But no, so here's the thing I heard, and I don't know how much truth is in this, but this is what several sources have claimed. So J.J. Abrams, Disney wanted 3 different directors for the films because the original trilogy had 3 different directors. Yep. So J.J. Abrams wrote and directed the first one, and then supposedly wrote an outline for how the next 2 should go. However, Disney, not remembering that while they were directed by different people, they were written by the same fucking person. So there was one continuous story from episode 4 to episode 6. It wasn't like disjointed.
It was
so they were like, no, we're going to give the next director free reign. So he just threw out the plan and implemented his own thing. And supposedly the whole Palpatine returning was their
what do you think is the worst thing about the whole show? What do you think was the worst thing about the whole trilogy? You think it was them killing off Luke, or them forcing Rey down?
I expected Luke to die.
Yeah, me too, honestly. Honestly, I think the death of Luke was handled pretty well. I think that's like... I'd say the Luke arc is probably like the best, most consistently good part of The Last Jedi. Like Luke...
No, I gotta disagree with that. How powerful was Luke Skywalker? Can you watch that movie and tell me how powerful Luke was?
I would say that I feel like his emotional arc made sense. Him returning to become a new symbol and breaking away from the history of the Jedi to remember that he can be himself.
Read Dark Empire, the comics of what happened after.
I don't know. I don't really care about power level stuff like that.
Can I bring up something that I kind of liked? And it's not necessarily the Luke's death in the movie. I liked Mark Hamill. What Mark Hamill had to say about why Luke died, at least from his perspective, because I kind of found what Mark Hamill said about it very interesting, because
I think I may have seen the interview.
He basically he described it as he said the Force is like a drug. It slowly like kills you as you use it. Mm-hmm. And Luke Skywalker was like a drug addict who relapsed and then overdosed, kind of. And I kind of liked the analogy because it kind of fits with
Everything else we've
with,
seen
like,
with everybody else.
well, like the Force, like look at the dark side. The dark side is undeniably like incredibly powerful, but it also like rapidly corrupts your body.
Yeah.
As you
What I really liked about it was that I feel like it really well harkened back to what I think was the original point behind Luke and his connection with the Force, which was that he was supposed to break free from the traditions of the Jedi to become his own sort of Jedi person. That's why he didn't finish his stuff with Yoda, because he didn't abandon his emotions. He chose to go and pursue his friends instead of doing the full training. And I think that in The Last Jedi and how it like reflects in that same way, Luke has sort of become lost because he believes that, I betrayed the old Jedi code, and I nearly like killed Ben Kylo over that and stuff like that.
His nephew.
But he realizes, you know what? No, fuck that. I don't need to let the old Jedi past define me, and I don't need to let my mistakes define me. Fuck that. I'm going to become a symbol of hope for the future, just like was always my intention. And I think he goes out really well on that thematic.
Okay, but for the average Star Wars fan, I gotta disagree with that because when you look at the average Star Wars fan, again, when you read Dark Empire, you're seeing Luke walk around and destroying Star Destroyers with his hands. He's not even using a lightsaber. He's supposed to be more powerful than Yoda.
Yeah,
I mean, think about that a minute. We were told he was more powerful than Yoda, and this dude got beat by a girl who was never trained. You understand what I'm saying?
I've got to be frank about this. I care far more about how impactful and thematic a character's arc is than how consistent it is with some other world's standard of power levels. I think that's not why I watch movies. And
I think I can answer G-Man's question
Luke
now.
Skywalker do some damage, and all he did was act like a coward. He didn't want to do anything.
I'm gonna quote Mr. Plinkett. I don't care if it was explained in some fucking book.
G-Man, I'm putting a link to that podcast that you asked for earlier in the chat.
But no, G-Man, I think as you guys have talked, have figured out my answer to your question, because you were like, what was the thing you hated the most about the prequel trilogies? And I did not immediately have an answer, but I think I do. And I kind of mentioned it to an extent. I feel like the worst thing about it was the fact that they felt the need to just basically wipe the slate clean. Like I said before, in the OG trilogy or in the OG universe,
we got Mace Windu and we got Darth Maul.
No, I think
no. I'm talking about just the sequel trilogy. They felt the need. Instead of going with some logical, like, okay, there's Imperial remnants, or I guess you can argue the First Order's kind of like that, but I mean, everything is just so new. In the OG trilogy, it was normal normal stormtroopers, Imperial remnants, like a new emperor rose to power. The Jedi Order continued, and it was changed. Like Bananical said, Luke Skywalker's Jedi Order was vastly different from the original Jedi Order, and we got to explore that a lot more because his Jedi Order survived. Disney was like, nope, wipe the slate clean. Let's just create an entirely new universe, basically entirely new shit. But at the same time,
they left a lot of money on the table. They left a lot of money on the table with Thrawn. They could have brought Thrawn back. They could have. They could have did a lot of things.
It could have been great. It could have been amazing.
Was beyond stupid.
No.
And that's why I'm glad I hear in the news that they're thinking about just throwing away the sequel trilogy and redoing it.
That would be
They were
interesting,
thinking of
actually.
making that like an alternate timeline. I heard that. It would be super interesting if they did that. I don't think they're going to, though. I don't think they can retcon it to that,
because
but
it's too marketable.
Agree. The direction they should have gone with it was, I feel like, much more in line with how the comics carried out. To be fair, Han and Leia's son turn to the dark side. That's from the comics. But it was better.
There's a thing actually. Adam Driver, when he's done there's a meme about this because it's that funny. When Adam Driver did an interview back in the the early days of publicity, whenever Force Awakens was coming out, he said under his breath in an interview was asking him about an interview was asking about oh, how does it feel to play Han Solo's son, and the first thing he said was, I thought I was playing Jason. Meaning Jason Solo, Han Solo's son from the trilogy.
Yeah, you know what's kind of strange? In a way, he was. In a way, he was. Yeah. And honestly, I kind of.
I mean, let's be honest. Disney was never going to.
I don't necessarily think that the character of Kylo Ren was great. He was all right. Yeah. He was one of my favorite characters from the sequel trilogy, for whatever that's worth. But
he was said to be established
like Adam Driver as an actor, and I think he did a good job.
No, he was a good actor. Getting back to G-Man's...
Okay, so let me ask you this. Based on their presentation with Rey, do you believe that Rey could take Yoda?
No. Nah.
No.
She could. She beat Luke. She beat
that version of Luke. I don't think that she's demonstrated enough power.
I feel like the version of Luke that they created is not the same Luke that you're imagining, because you're thinking of like Legends, what is now called Legends Luke. And Luke, I'm gonna be real. Luke, with the changes Disney has made, if you really examine Luke's arc from my perspective, you examine Luke's arc, and then just from the movies, Disney has basically retconned it to where Luke was weak as fuck.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, but let's be honest. Kylo Ren would stand no chance in hell against Vader.
Oh no, Vader would crumple him with 2 fingers behind his back.
There's only one canon. There's literally only one canon
event. There's a difference between a Sith Lord and Kylo Ren. Kylo Ren was never a Sith Lord.
Kylo Ren's not even a Sith.
Yeah, he was a Jedi at best.
He had the opportunity. Now he had the opportunity to become a Sith and the Sith Lord. Yeah,
literally, he chucked his Sith lightsaber into the sea and went, "I'm going to be a Jedi again."
And can I just address something about Palpatine? You never know when he's lying, because he seems like the kind of dude who either is constantly like everything is going according to my plan, or he's just the most adaptable, like, yes, no, this is exactly what I wanted, let me think for a second, nope, I know how to spin this.
That was the point.
I feel like it's the latter. I feel like he's just super.
So basically,
adaptable.
He was the Soviet Union.
Yeah, let me spin this.
Yeah, let me. I can adapt to this.
But
they should have made it about Luke. They should have brought Rey up very slowly. They should have brought Thrawn in as the main antagonist, or one of the main antagonists. And then
they should have 100% brought back a lot more. They brought back a lot of old elements from Star Wars, but instead of bringing back theme and lore elements, like characters and stuff, they just created a whole bunch of new shit and then copied story elements, so it just felt like a brand new retelling of old shit.
Yeah, getting back to G-Man,
they left a lot of money on the table. They left a lot.
Oh yeah. Getting back to G-Man's original question. Getting back to G-Man's original question, I feel like the thing that I dislike the most about the series is that I don't feel like, and unlike even the prequels, really, it wasn't the vision of a storyteller. It was clearly this mixed hodgepodge attempt to make a marketable story, and that was all it was. Something that would be marketable, something that would be profitable. There was no storyteller. There was no consistent story to say. Yeah.
They just wanted a strong woman character who is going to kick everybody's butt, which I don't have a problem with. I have a problem with how fast it happened. Rey should have been trained. We should have seen her ups and downs like we saw with Ahsoka. Ahsoka has a lot more supporters than Rey does.
It was just a money grab. No one wanted to tell a story. No one wanted to do something consistent. And everything is supposed to be marketable. But if they had not chosen to separate these things by directors, if they had not chosen to fucking change it,
I would argue The Last Jedi was the only proper attempt at telling something different.
But it was so different that everyone hated it.
But I would rather they take
Yeah, a
Was
risk.
that the
Yeah,
one
do
with the
something.
horses?
Any risks at all?
No, that was the
That wasn't a risk. That was career suicide when they killed Luke in the second movie.
Yes, it was.
That was
Yes,
stupid. That's what that was.
Nah, it was a fine thematic moment, but like I
Everybody who saw the first movie wanted to see what they was gonna do with Luke. If they would have made him look proper, brought Snoke in, you know what I mean? Even Ahsoka,
Yeah.
if they wanted.
They,
If they
no,
would've
and
did
they
that, it
introduced
would've worked out a whole
Snoke
lot
and then
better.
killed him off.
they just clearly had no plan.
No, because who the fuck was he? And then they just hodgepodged it together. Oh, Snoke was a clone.
But he wasn't.
Like
He was
in the next.
in the third one. They showed.
I did kind of like the idea of like a big Sith guy that just gets killed, and then the symbol is that the Sith are dead and it doesn't matter anymore. They just never fulfilled that. They never really went enough with it.
Yeah, so theoretically,
Here's
the
real
Sith
question,
could be
though.
around.
Who was more powerful, Palpatine or Snoke? I mean, Snoke didn't.
Who
Snoke
gives a
was
shit?
Created by
Palpatine. He
Palpatine,
just
so
show around with the Force.
Snoke was literally just a throwaway character that they did nothing
Yes,
with to
Snoke
throw away.
was literally, they retconned it to where he was created by. He was such a throwaway character that they had to be like, all right, no, this is just some creature, a homunculus
That
was
Palpatine-
created
Yeah,
by
if you look at the Star Wars wiki, that's what he's described as. He's described as nothing more than a Force homunculus created by Palpatine.
They just had no
Could've been
plan
Ezra
with it.
Bridger.
I don't know.
They could have made Snoke Ezra Bridger. That's what they could have done.
Ooh, that would have
Actually.
been cool.
Because Ezra Bridger.
See, once again,
for
if
example,
they,
the
if they
new
were
Star
willing
Wars
to
character
call
they got-
back to much more of the lore, because like that's the thing. But when freaking Rey shows up, she like no, there's no Jedi. Luke Skywalker's the last Jedi. Where the hell's Ezra? Where the hell's Ahsoka? Did they die? Like it would like
Ahsoka does die. No, she
Yeah,
doesn't. Never mind.
She doesn't.
I'm not really into the EU, but I would have liked to have seen them do something with the Yuzong Vong.
Where's Starkiller?
I'm not really into the EU either,
not
but I don't
Star-
really believe in Brexit. You know, I don't think it's the answer.
Yeah. Also, like, just imagine this, right? Like, what if they would have had somebody like Starkiller come on, just for shits and giggles?
I always
Starkiller,
Yeah, why didn't they just do a
in the second movie
crossover
instead
with
of Luke?
Guardian of the Galaxies? You know,
no, Starkiller was arguably just as powerful. With
why didn't they just just get rid of this whole Star Wars trilogy idea and just have Luke show up in Infinite Crisis on All Earths and kill Thanos? You know.
Yeah, Luke could have been a guest star. That'd have been great. They could have used Starkiller, and then Luke could have just showed up out of nowhere and then saved the day. You know what I mean? And they could have did something with that. It would have been better than the garbage they had in the theater.
themselves to just 3 movies.
Listen, if Disney, yeah.
If it was
Had
a
they,
quad trilogy,
had they made like 2
TV
trilogies
series?
or like 4 movies, 5 movies that actually explored an actual good story that took place in the original Star Wars universe and not like
wanna know
this
what?
new.
They make a
You
quintology.
know what? Everybody will agree. Everybody will agree that season 7 of the Clone Wars was better than the movies.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah.
When they did Order 66, they
What
were
was your
leading up.
opinion on What was your opinion on Mando?
Mando, the more
the TV show.
No, I haven't watched it. That's the only one I haven't been watching because I've been
It's
so kicked off.
Okay, no, G-Man, that one actually is really good.
I've heard it's
Is-
nice.
But let me ask you this though: why do you think they did such a good job on Star Wars season 7 with those little bit of episodes versus what they did with the movies?
Because they were legitimate story writers that were trying to improve with a lot of
And
potential
it
that was
was
given with them.
actually once again drawing
They
on
actually gave a damn.
They gave more of a damn than
Absolutely.
George Lucas did making the prequels.
Would you like
Yeah.
to sum up in 2 words, G-Man? Why they were better?
Yeah. Why were they better?
Pussy and butts.
Dave Filoni.
Yep.
is the
Oh,
reason.
that's right. He should have been the one to write the prequels then. Not the prequels. I'm sorry. The last 3
That would
movies.
have been awesome.
Yeah.
There is apparently talk, like I've heard the rumor that both Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau are basically beseeching the guy in charge of Disney to give them creative control over Star Wars instead of Kathleen
Ooh.
Kennedy.
Now,
Because
what if they actually direct the because eventually Star Wars is going to do a High Republic movie because they're coming out with the comics late this year and early next year.
yeah,
Eventually, let's be honest, Star Wars is going to cash out. They're going to make a movie out of it. What if
Yeah.
they gave them control of the High Republic?
no,
What
that
they
would
should
be
do is make something
High
called.
Republic
What
is
they
bi-
should do is make a movie on Vader after Order 66. That's what they should do.
I've seen
Yeah,
the
It could be
Oh,
interesting.
Yeah, no, the comics. Have you read any? You've been talking about the comics. Have
Vader
you
is
read
literally
any of the
worshipped as a
Vader
god
comics?
on one of those planets, is he not, Mooney?
Then I will say this: I really like some of the comic books that they've made with like Darth Vader. I haven't read like the
Do me a favor.
Uh,
Tell G-Man about the planet where Darth Vader is basically worshipped. As a,
yeah. There's one comic book series where Darth Vader crash lands on a planet.
With the
That they're
snake
having a
people, if I'm
space
not
battle.
mistaken.
Yeah,
I'm
and
fully
he
aware of
kills.
that.
Yeah, he kills
I'm
some
subscribed
giant
to Star Wars
monster.
Theory and several YouTube channels that talks about this daily.
Yeah, so no,
Same.
so the Darth
Same.
Vader comic books are actually pretty dope. I like those.
My favorite Vader quote ever is from the comic books, and I think you all know.
Yep, you've told us many times.
It's G-Man, you definitely know. It's the one where he gets surrounded by all the rebels.
Oh yeah, I love that
On
one.
a planet, and they're like, drop your weapon, you're surrounded. And he said, all I am is surrounded by fear.
And dead men.
And then
Fear
he
and
kills
dead,
them.
man.
I remember that, and he ultimately left though.
Yeah.
If I'm
he
not mistaken, at the end
He
of that
won.
season.
He
took them
won
all.
that battle.
Vader also did some really messed up things in the new, like even in the new and old canon. Vader got sent by Palpatine as an envoy to Jabba the Hutt.
Kill kids.
Yeah, I know that.
The younglings.
But
Mooney, I actually have something to say about that upcoming Sith episode that we're talking about. That particular Sith that we would be talking about could not beat the younglings.
that's true.
No.
But
But no.
as I was saying, basically what he did, he got sent by Palpatine as an envoy to Jabba. Jabba called him a Jedi a couple of times, and Vader like choked him right in the middle of his own
Yep.
palace. Talked to him. Do you know what he did after that? Before he left the planet, and he did it so violently
He killed
that
the Sand people.
he genocided the entire Sand People.
Yeah.
Species. He murdered all of them. He literally walked around the whole planet killing all of them.
Have you guys seen the comic where Vader goes into some planet? I forget what it is, but and he sees like a slaver. He goes absolutely nuts.
Oh, he murders slavery. Ironically, he hates slavery, but
Because he was a slave as a child.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a comic book part where Palpatine
Palpatine
revealed that he was taking the
justifies
Wookiees as
it.
slaves, and then he found out and confronted Palpatine about it.
he
And then
straight up walked
Palpatine
up to him and was
was
like,
like,
"What the fuck
necessary.
are you doing?"
Yeah.
Palpatine basically was like, "I know you were a slave, but like you basically because Palpatine
You need to understand, essentially, is what he tells him.
Palpatine's a racist in the comics as well. Like,
Yeah.
a racist.
I mean, to
Oh,
be
yes.
fair, Palpatine was originally in the OG lore. The Empire was very human,
yeah, that's
like
what I mean.
human
Palpatine was a massive racist.
supremacist.
All the
Yeah, I mean, like,
Yeah, and
he
it was
was
prejudice against aliens.
I mean, it was human centric because
I
it
mean, like,
was
people-
cheaper
people
to put people in
my mistakes. But,
Yeah, okay, but it was also they were also like incredibly influenced by the Nazis. Like you
Yeah.
could tell that by their uniforms.
The green uniform.
Yeah, I know, but can't you put like a Wookiee in a stormtrooper uniform, and he could be a Nazi too.
no, but here's the thing, though.
Well, you
Like,
actually look at the First Order. As a matter of fact, if you look at the Force Awakens, when they use the Star Killer base to destroy what was it, like 3 or 4 planets that was part of the
It
Republic.
was
If
like
you listen to
5.
the
It was like
that Hux gave, that was very Adolf Hitler like.
Do you know the worst
Yeah,
thing is?
no.
oh yeah no oh they
Hold on.
really ramped up the Nazi symbolism because like the Nazi symbolism for the Empire was a lot more subtle than it was for the First Order. Can I say something that I really like? Speaking of those lore and theory channels, because I'm familiar with the ones you're talking about, G-Man. I've watched a few of them. One of them mentioned something that was very interesting. This is one of the few. So the destruction of Alderaan became like a major center point for rebel propaganda, and it was a major recruitment drive. It was like their version of the Alamo. There was like posters around the galaxy, like remember Alderaan
It
and
was
stuff.
Also, the Empire also used it as propaganda, Winnie, because the Empire used to put up posters saying Alderaan, remember the price of treason.
Yeah, they did. So it was. So both
I don't mean to go off topic here, but I know all of us have seen the prequels here. Did any of you guys spot E.T. in the back of the Phantom in the Phantom?
Yeah, the
Menace?
ET species are in the Phantom.
Yep.
But no,
There's a backstory to that. It's because George Lucas actually helped co-write E.T. with Steven Spielberg.
Yeah, but anyway, like I was saying, the Hosnian system, which is apparently what the system the First Order blew up was called, was not really, and like basically people cared way more about this one planet of Alderaan being blown up than they cared about these 5 planets being destroyed. And apparently the reason was because the targets the Empire blew up Alderaan, which was this peaceful, or at least perceived as peaceful, cultural center.
It was back in ancient Greece.
Yeah, no, it was like nuking Amsterdam, like directly nuking a museum.
Don't give the U.S. any ideas.
So so people were like, why would you do that? Whereas the Hosnian system was viewed by the galaxy as the center of the corrupt bureaucracy that runs the government.
Yeah, because
so no one really gave a shit when they were destroyed.
It would be like if DC got nuked.
I'm surprised they didn't use that weapon to destroy what is it, the homeworld of where the Jedi Temple was. I forget what it's called.
Coruscant.
I'm surprised they didn't destroy it.
I think the reason they didn't destroy it is because it was the Imperial capital back in the day.
If they're destroying the capital of the freaking galaxy, why wasn't it explained why Coruscant is no longer the capital of the? Because it was the capital of the Republic. It was the capital of the Empire.
I think it's because of those two things. Because it was seen as the capital of a republic that fell to corruption, and then it was the palace planet of Palpatine. If you guys remember, Starkiller Base is actually the existence of Starkiller Base is another big kind of like allegory for Nazism, because Starkiller Base, if any of you remember, was built on Ilum, which was the sacred planet that Jedi went to get their lightsaber crystals. So it was literally a cultural fuck you and a religious fuck you to the Jedi.
Oh, was it Ilum?
Yeah. If you play Jedi Fallen Order, you go to Ilum and you can see massive trenches have been carved into it by the Empire, who are mining it for kyber crystals for the Death Star. So there's that.
Well, I mean, I guess if you're going to turn any planet into a giant super weapon, that would be the one you'd have to use.
Yeah.
More important question. What happened to Jetster Dexter?
Oh my god, he died. He actually died. That's been covered. He died quite badly.
Okay.
They kind of like because he lived in this is the last point I'm gonna make about Star Wars. He lived in a kind of like working class, but not like the mega slums of Coruscant. And basically they kind of like the Empire were like, let's get rid of all the aliens. And he's like, I ain't moving my cantina, so the Stormtroopers just gunned him down.
Close to the fans.
It's been a great show. It's a pleasure having you on.
Yeah,
I think we should give.
Honestly, this was
the final word.
Yeah, honestly, this was a shockingly civil episode. I had a great time. Thank you, G-Man.
Yeah.
You're a really good guest.
And G-Man, it has been an absolute pleasure having you on here. It's been a really, really great conversation and talk. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on. This has been your internet friends, and G-Man, if you want to get the last word.
Sure, read your Bible and do what it says.
Read your Bible and do what it says. Do what it says. Oh, yeah.
It's been an absolute pleasure, G-Man.
Come to Jersey City.
Gman.
You got the audacity. You're going to jail. You got the audacity.
My name is Gman.
You got the audacity. That's all I got to say. You got the audacity. I sold $3,000. You got the audacity. Audacity. You got the audacity. Audacity. Because you don't got no evidence.
My name is Gman. My name is Gman.
No big in this guy, me.
My name is Gman. My name is Gman.
You can't beat me in fighting. You can't beat me in chemistry. You can't beat beat me in biology. You can't even walk better than me. You can't outrun me. Dude, you can't even out-talk me. Come to Jersey. Come to Jersey. Come to Jersey. Come to Jersey. Come to Jersey City. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Preaching to the Choir Ministries.